Hello, dear students. I hope you all are safe and well. My name is Salma Khan. I'm one of the course instructors of Humanities 101. I hope you are enjoying the course so far and not facing any trouble understanding our discussions. Today I'll talk about ancient Greece and it's lecture number 13. The picture you see here probably gives you an idea of what Greek civilization was all about. It's the birthplace of democracy. It's the civilization where great philosophers like Socrates, Plato, Aristotle emerged. Not only these philosophers changed the worldview of ancient people, but also they're continuing to influence the political thoughts of modern world. We also find many evidences of magnificent art, architecture, and mesmerizing myths and literature about gods and goddesses, as well as heroes in Greek civilization. In this lecture, I'll talk about the political structure, the background of the emergence of dissident philosophers in Greece, and the features of Greek religion. So, without any further ado, let's begin the discussion. Okay, now let's look at the timeline here. Before 1870, hardly anyone thought that there was a great civilizations on Aegean Islands for hundreds of years before the rise of Greek civilization. The Minoan and Mycenaean civilizations were the oldest ones of Europe, very significant for their outstanding achievements in the arts. And these civilizations are like the starting points of Greek history. I said before that Minoan and Mycenaean civilizations originated on the island of Crete. Minoan civilization was named after the legendary Cretan ruler Minos. It was founded by the people who migrated from Asia Minor to Crete around 3000 BC. Later, they made transition from Neolithic stage to the age of metals. Neolithic age means developing agriculture, inventing agriculture, domesticating animal and settling down. And by 2000 BC, Minoans were developing cities and an early form of writing. The Minoans sailed back and forth across the Mediterranean Sea, and by 1600 BC, they were colonizing other Aegean islands as trading and mining centers. The Minoans were so confident in their wealth and power that they did not build any defenses and left their magnificent city without any protective walls. The wealth and power of Minoans soon became a magnet for Mycenaeans, who took over Crete around 1400 BCE. When Mycenaeans migrated to Greece from Central Europe, they also brought their language, and it was Indo-European language. They knew how to ride horse chariots, and they had excellent skill in metalworking. Like the Aryans we have seen in Indus Valley civilization, the Mycenaeans ultimately dominated the local people, Minoans. From the contact with the Minoans, the Mycenaeans saw the value of trade. Mycenaean traders soon sailed throughout the Mediterranean Sea and did business with Anatolia, Syria, Egypt, Italy, and Crete. The Minoans also influenced the Mycenaeans in many other ways. The Mycenaeans adopted Minoan writing system to the Greek language and decorated vases with Minoan designs. The Minoan influenced the Mycenaean culture that became the core of Greek religious practice, art, politics, and literature. And we can say that definitely the Western civilization has its roots in these two early Mediterranean civilizations. During the 1200 BC, the Mycenaeans fought a 10 years war against Troy. And Troy was an independent trading city located in Anatolia, which is present-day Turkey. According to the legend, a Greek army sieged and destroyed Troy city because a Trojan prince had kidnapped Helen, and Helen was the beautiful wife of a Greek king. For many years, historians thought that the legendary stories told of Trojan War was totally fictional, but Excavation conducted in northwestern Turkey during 1870s by German archaeologist Heinrich Schliemann suggested that the stories of the Trojan War might have been based on real cities, people, and events. Although the exact nature of the Trojan War remains unclear, this attack on Troy probably one of the last Mycenaean battle campaigns. The fall of Mycenaean civilization was a major devastation for the Greek world. After that came the period which usually called by the historians the Dark Age, which lasted from about 1200 to 800 BCE. No written record existed from the 400 years period. As a result, little is known about this period of Greek history. Although we see the development of writing at the very end, we later find the two most important epics, the Iliad and Odyssey. And these two famous epics were written by the blind poet Homer, and these provide us a rich store of information about many traditions and societies of the Dark Ages. From 800 to 500 BC, commonly called the Archaic period, and we see the rise of city-states like Athens, Sparta, and many more. In the Archaic period, we see early developments in Greek culture and society, which formed the basis of Classical period or Hellenic period. Hellenic period is referred to the pure Greek culture with no outside mixing of any other cultures. And last but not the least, there is the Hellenistic period, which is not pure Greek but a culture that was mix of Greek and other cultures like Egyptian, Babylonian, Persian, and so on. Okay, so first we need to see the map of Greek civilization. Remember that maps are very important. Geography is the stage where history, the story, or action took place. From the map we can see that the sea shaped the Greek civilization, just as rivers shaped the ancient civilizations of Egypt, the Fertile Crescent, India, and China. In one sense, Greeks did not live on land but around a sea. The Aegean Sea, the Ionian Sea, and neighboring Black Sea were important transportation routes for the Greek people. So, Greeks became skilled sailors, and sea routes connected Greece with other societies. Sea travel and trade were also important because Greece lacked natural resources. Much of the land itself was stony. Only a small part of it was suitable for farming. Tiny but fertile valleys covered about 1/4 of Greece. Probably the desire for more living space, grassland for raising cattle, and more farmland have been the factors that motivated the Greeks to seek new locations for colonies. Mountains covered the 3/4 of ancient Greece. Mountains divided the land into a number of different regions. This significantly influenced the Greek political life. Instead of a single government, the Greeks developed small independent communities within each little valley and its surrounding mountains. Most Greeks gave their loyalty to these local communities. So in short, in ancient times, Greece was not a united country. It was a collection of separate lands where Greek-speaking people used to live. By 3000 BC, the Minoans lived on a large Greek island of Crete you see at the bottom. The Minoans created an elegant civilization that had great power in the Mediterranean world. At the same time, people from Anatolia, modern-day Turkey, migrated and settled in mainland Greece. In ancient times, the moderate temperatures supported an outdoor life for many Greek citizens. Men spent most of their leisure time at outdoor public events. They met often to discuss public issues, exchange news, and take an active part in civic life. Here you see the famous bull leaping fresco. Now, what is fresco? Fresco is a technique of mural painting performed upon a freshly laid wet plaster. Here in this fresco, we see a male performer who is turning a back somersault above the bull, and he is dark skinned, and on the other hand, there are two female toreadors who are white skinned and wearing more ornamental attire. The fresco seems a bit exaggerated, like the body and horns of the bull looks a bit exaggerated, so as the slimness of the athletes. The modern experts in bullfighting claim that it is impossible to somersault over the back of a charging bull. But anyway, the act of bull leaping is very significant in Minoan culture. Minoans used to worship the bull, so it is kind of a ritual, also a sport, as the natives of Crete loved games and sports. The women seem to have enjoyed equality with men. There was no public activities from which they were barred, or no occupation which they could not enter.